Hi, my name is Lloyd Norman with Prosymmetry. Thanks for joining me today as we talk about how to refine an initial project or epic sizing. The goal of this series of videos, and this is the second in a series of videos, is where we're talking about how to maximize the flow of value through your portfolio. You do that by making sure that your highest value work, as defined by your executives, is always continuously being delivered and staffed without burning out your people. The only way you can do that is through effective resource capacity planning at a portfolio level. So let's dive in. Again, this is the second in a series of videos that we are producing talking about this topic. So last video, we created this project here, this initial project epic sizing video. And the next step in this process is really all about making sure that you're breaking your work down effectively. We're going to break this down into an MVP or a phase if you're talking waterfall work. So let's just clone this thing if we may. We're going to clone it. We're going to start it in February of 25 because that's when the business asked us to start it. And I'm going to call this MVP or phase 1. Okay. So let's dive into this. We've been told by the business, product management tells us that if in fact we can do our MVP, we'll get about 75% of the net benefit that we talked about in the last video. And we should be able to do that in about 6 months. So let's go in here and just clip 6 months off this. Take this back in terms of ending date to July. Right? So that's going to essentially cut our cost from the 1.2 million down to about half of that, right? That's what you would expect. And now the nice thing is, of course, we can come in here and look at this at a planning level that essentially aligns with where we are in the planning process now, right? So we can see roughly where things are planning to start here. We're also planning our corporate roles as well. That's one of the nice things about coordinating work from a portfolio capacity planning perspective. Everybody's involved, right? So it's compliance, audit, legal, all good. But I do want to make sure that we're making sure that our Agile teams roughly start in alignment with one of their PI planning periods. So I've got those dates in here. So I'm going to come in here and zero this out and essentially add about 10% more, which would bump this up to roughly 50%. Take that out over the next several months here. I'm going to do the same thing here. Zero this out and then bump this up to 31%. Take that out here as well. Okay, so now we've got our Agile teams aligned. Again, the nice thing is whether you're a functional manager or a product manager or release train engineer, you can now make sure that your portfolio backlogs, your staffing plans, ensure that you've got capacity reserved for this kind of skill set or this kind of a team. Now what we want to do is make sure that we align our financials. And we had roughly a $2 million benefit here. We're going to put 3/4 of that now in July. So 1.5 million. Whoops. Check that out. Well, that's too much, isn't it? Okay, there we go. And we also are going to be starting this here. So we're going to clip this up to February, and we are going to clip this down to July. Okay, so now we've aligned our funding as well. So when you're coordinating portfolio resources, you want to be able to do it as easily and efficiently as possible. And that's exactly why we're not doing this inside of complicated PPM tools or in tools like Jira or Azure DevOps that are not designed to do capacity planning above a team level. This is actually how you coordinate work. In our next video, you'll see how we coordinate this work holistically across the entire portfolio. Everybody has full transparency. Everybody can see wherever everything is lined up by role or by skill. And we also have the ability to model that in a digital twin of your portfolio. So that's what we'll be doing in our next video following on to this. Thanks for joining me today. In the meantime, if you have additional questions, please reach out to us at prosymmetry.com. Thank you.